Hello. So let's begin with the last preparation for the exam that we are going to have tomorrow. So if you are ready, this is a session where we are planning to discuss the main topics according to your request. So whichever area that you would like to ask, you can put it in the comment box so that I can help you out with the sufficient one. Okay, Ankita. Uh, what is your doubt on Anne Frank? Please go ahead, Ankita. Anne Frank, as we all know, it's a very important lesson. Even though it's not quite lengthy, that lesson is very important. There are not many very important ideas. Okay, Anne and her grandmother's part. Actually, what happened in the beginning, there is a discussion on Anne's family life, where Anne clearly suggests that she shared a special bond with her grandmother. And when her parents, both of them, left to Netherlands, when they migrated to Netherlands or Holland, they kept Anne back at home with the grandmother. And Anne was very much attached to her grandmother. Then afterwards, even they took grandmother also to the next place, that is to the place where they were migrated. And then what happens? She spends some days with them, and unfortunately for Anne, she passes away. So in the next birthday, they have kept one more candle blowing just to commemorate the life of her grandmother. That is the area that we have in the lesson, and there is usually it is not seen that there's a lot of questions are asked from that area. I hope your doubt is clear, Ankita. If you have any specific doubt, you can mention about that area, Anne's area. Both shared a great bond, by the way. She often used to miss her grandmother very badly because she is the one who took care of both Anne and her sister, and the parents were not there. So whoever is there, you can drop your messages over there in the chat box so that we can further discuss. So we got one more person over there. I don't know who it is. If you could drop your name, your message in the chat box, we can communicate. I hope this will be a very informative session for you all, whoever is joining. So it's very important that we should be knowing the question pattern before we go for an exam. So if you want to prepare very well, first of all, you should be familiar with the question pattern, the areas which we have to focus, the way the questions will be asked, the marks allotted to each section. Everything is very important when we prepare for the exam. So if you have any doubts regarding that, or if you have any doubts regarding any specific area, you can put it in the chat box. Together we'll discuss. I hope I'll be able to help you out. Hello Sangeet, hi, how are you? Hope your preparations are going smooth. Yes, Sangeet, go ahead. Oh, I'm fine, Sangeet. So nice of you. I'm fine, Sangeet. Could you please tell me which part of the country are you from? Yes, Sangeet, go ahead. And Gregory, yeah. I know that it's slightly difficult when you type all the doubts and all, but unfortunately, this is the way we can communicate. That's the only possible way that we have right now. Whichever area you have doubts, you can clearly put it in so that the others, those who are there, can also benefit. Yes, so happy, Sangeet, to know that you're from Maharashtra. Yes, man. Could you please tell me what is the doubt that you have in Gregory? And Ankita also, Ankita, if you are there, okay, you didn't understand Gregory. Okay, fine. Let's discuss in a brief. Let's discuss what is Gregory. Gregory is a poem written by W.B. Yeats, and W.B. Yeats is a very famous Irish writer. And in this poem, it is in the form of a conversation between a young man and Gregory. So the whole poem is like an interaction between a young man and Gregory. Whereas this young man, the identity of the young man is not very clear, but we assume that it could be the poet himself. So he is conveying a message to Andrew Gary. So the whole idea, the overall idea is about the concept that the only person who can love you as you are is God Almighty only. The only person who can love you as you are is God Almighty. So what does it mean? Most of us run after the physical appearance, the outward appearance of people. When we make relationships, we usually go with the physical appearance. So, in the beginning, the poet or the narrator or the young man tells Anne Gregory that people comes to you, people are after you. Anne Gregory is a very beautiful lady. So, people comes to you because of your looks, because of your appearance, because of your outward beauty. So, what type of outward beauty? Especially her hair, her hair, which is golden color, honey color. That is the term which is used. Her rampants. So Anne Gregory has got a beautiful hair. She's got great looks, good looks, and she is liked by people because of her appearance. That is what the young man tells. The young man tells Anne Gregory that people comes to you because of your good looks, especially your honey-colored hair. And then Anne Gregory thinks about it. She reflects about it, and she says that okay, then there is one thing that I can do. She says that I can avoid this because the young man says that people are after you because of your looks. So Anne Gregory tells them that I can avoid this by changing the color of my hair. She says I can dye it up. Usually when somebody is after you because of your hair color, what you can do? You can change the color. So Anne Gregory says I can make a new color. I can make it carrot. I can make it brown, or I can make it black, or whatever I want. I can make it. I'll do that. That is what she says, so that people may love me for what I am. So Anne Gregory was told by this young man that people are after you, people love you, people like you only because of your outward beauty. Then Anne Gregory, in reply, she says, I can do one thing, I can change the color of my hair. Then the young man goes on and he says that I have met an old guy. Last day, I have met an old guy. He's a very religious man. And he had preached that he saw a divine book, a religious book, where it is written that only God Almighty can love you for what you are. Nobody can love you as you are. Everybody comes to you with a purpose. They may have their hidden intentions. And this narrator tells Anne Gregory that I was told by an old man that God Almighty is the only one who can love you for what you are. So that is where the poem concludes. I hope it is clear. So it's about giving more important. Thank you, Sankeet. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So you can also refer to your friends, whoever is there. You can share this link to them and ask them to join. I'll be available for the next 1 hour here, helping you out. All of you, whoever is there, in whichever part of the country, you can join in, share your queries. Um, I'll do my level best to clear all your doubts. Let's work together. Let's crack this exam. It is not that difficult. CBSE exams. People may have different opinion, but uh, hello, Atharu. Hare Krishna, Atharu. Hare Krishna. So happy, Atharu, you're here. So, what is your doubt? Please go ahead. So, whichever areas that you are interested, if you share it over here, then others can also sometimes get benefit. So kindly please share the link with your friends. They can also learn. Okay, doubt in Nelson Mandela, the oppressive part. Okay, Sankeet. That's a great question. Actually, do you want me to explain the whole lesson, Nelson Mandela, in short span? I can do it for you. I can do it for everybody who is present here, because it's a very interesting lesson. Yeah, I'll come to Mijbil also, Otter. Let's first discuss about Nelson Mandela. Okay, Nelson Mandela is a very interesting chapter, but unfortunately, most of us find it very dull and boring. Actually, it is a part taken from Nelson Mandela's autobiography. And Nelson Mandela, as we all know, is a very famous personality around the world. And this is an area where Nelson Mandela shares his opinions, his ideas about different aspects of life, freedom, etc. So, in the beginning of the lesson, we can find that Nelson Mandela's uh, preparations for the swan-in ceremony. He was elected as the first black president, democratic president of South Africa, and is about to get into that post. So, in the beginning of the chapter, we can find that Nelson Mandela is narrating about his experience of meeting all the other people from around the world. Actually, what happened, there is a concept of apartheid in the lesson. Apartheid. What is apartheid? Apartheid means racial discrimination. You are discriminating people on the base of the color of their skin, which is injustice. You can never do it because we are all God's creations. You can't discriminate a person only because the color of the skin is different. Okay, so in South Africa, what happened? The Westerners, the Europeans, they were in power. The whites were in power. There were three types of people in South Africa. One is the black, the native people. Then, second, the whites who were in the power, who enjoyed everything. Then comes the third category, the brown people. So everything, the whole country belonged to this white people because they were ruling the country. South Africa is a very important country, rich in minerals. And as a result, these Western people had their interest in South Africa. So what they did, they went there, they destroyed the native people, and they got into power. So and then they started practicing this apartheid, racial discrimination. As a result, what happens? The whole countries around the world, most of them have advocated them, have suggested them that you should stop this. You should never continue with this. This is bad. But unfortunately for South Africa, they didn't do that. The white government didn't do that. They went on persisting with this apartheid racial discrimination. And as a result, most of the countries broke their relationship with South Africa. So they were like outcasts, alien, like alone. They had a different existence. People were not cooperating with them. So when they finally conducted an election and Nelson Mandela was selected as the president, what happened? All the countries were happy. They came back to South Africa. They sent their representatives to attend the swan ceremony. So when the story begins, it's not a story actually; it's an autobiography. When it begins, Nelson Mandela explains about how different representatives from different countries came and attended the function. And then on the second page, we can see there is a short description about Nelson Mandela's speech, where towards the end he says, never, never, and never again this country will see an oppression. What is oppression? Forceful suppression of someone else and their rights, their existence. That is oppression. So South Africa had experienced that, and even we Indians also we can relate to that. Why? We were also under the rule of the British for a long time, and we know that how the rights of ours, Indians' rights, were taken away by the British people. So the same situation in a different way was there in South Africa. So there, what happened? They faced this oppression, lot of cruelties, and as a result, when a democratically elected came into power, as Nelson Mandela was the representative of that government, the highest authority of the government, he suggested people, he promised them that never, never, and never again in South Africa, nobody will oppress the other person. It's impossible. That's the first part. Then moving on, in after his speech, he explains about how the other military people came and saluted him, the police officers came and saluted him, how those jets were displaying their strength, the army were marching out, everything. And he uses a tint of sarcasm there. He says that these same people, these military people, these police officers, few days ago, whenever they see me, they come and arrested me. Now, once I became the president of this country, they come and they salute me just to show their solidarity towards the newly elected government. So it's in a very funny way he's mentioning it that, but in a sarcastic way also. He mentions about the kind of hardships that he had to struggle. Just imagine, three people comes to you, salutes you as you are the head of the state now. The same guys used to chase you, catch you, put you in the jail. So it's a very funny thing for Nelson Mandela, but that indirectly tells us how much suffering he had to undergo. Then afterwards, he narrates about the different people who came, who fought for the freedom of the South African people, the native black people. And unfortunately for him, he says that I couldn't thank them. I couldn't thank them. Why? Because they are dead. They are not here. But he is someone who gives a lot of importance to gratitude. He says, I am what I am today. My country is experiencing freedom today, not because of what I did, but it is because of those people who came before me. They fought. They were men of courage. That's what he says. You should honor them. They were men of courage. And that's the most important area where he describes what is courage. Courage is very well described. Courage, if somebody asks you what is courage, you'll say that fear, fearless condition. The person who doesn't feel fear, he's a courageous guy. That is our explanation. But there, beautifully, Nelson Mandela explains what is courage. He says, courage is not the absence of fear. Then what is it? It is your triumph over it, your victory over it. You conquer your fear, then you are courageous. So, who's a courageous man? One who can conquer his fears. So please, I hope up to this it is clear. The concept of courage is very well mentioned in the lesson by Nelson Mandela. Could you please drop your messages? If you are following it, that'll be great. Sangeet, I think you are understanding the concepts. So we are moving on. Um, Thank you, Sangeet. Then please share this link with your other friends. Ask them to come and join so that together we can learn and educate everybody, because same people may be coming later on and asking the same question. Okay, moving on. So he says about courage. He describes courage. What is courage? It is triumph over fear. It is not the absence of fear. And who's a courageous man? One who doesn't feel fear. Okay. Later on in the next paragraph, if you have the text, you can see he's mentioning about love and hatred, two very important concepts. He says that you have to teach a person to hate. You have to teach somebody to hate, because hatred is not a genuine characteristic. Hatred is not a characteristics that we have when we are born. Love is an inborn quality. When somebody is taking birth, you will have love because it's a divine quality. Then why do we hate people? People teach us. People tell us, okay, he is our enemy, let us hate him. He is not our friend, hate him, forget him. This is what the advices that we are getting as we grow up. So Nelson Mandela says, you have to teach somebody to hate. And then he says, if you can teach somebody to hate, definitely you can teach a person to love. It's so simple, because love is an inborn quality. So if you can inject a negative quality into somebody from outside, very easily you can bring in that positive quality that people have. And that's what he says. You have to teach people to hate. So if you can teach somebody to hate, you can teach that person to love also. Then in between, he mentions about the twin obligation of people. Twin obligation, very important question. In the previous exam, CBSE had asked about twin obligation. Anybody has got an idea about what is twin obligation? Could you please drop it in the chat box? Do you know what is twin obligation? Anybody? I'll wait for some time. Let's see, so that we can learn together. Twin obligation. Any idea what is twin obligation? Twin stands for two. Two. So a human being has got two. Yeah, it's not two problems, other. It is two duties, two responsibilities. Obligation means duty or responsibility. So every human being has got two duties. Very important. Yeah, Sangeet, very good. The first one is duty towards his family. As a human being, I have a responsibility towards my family. I have to take care of my parents, my wife, my children, my relatives, whoever is connected to me. So my first duty is to my family, and second one towards his fellow men, countrymen, other. Exactly, very good. The second one is towards my countrymen. I have a duty towards my countrymen. So these are twin obligations. Every individual has it. Now, what's the problem with Nelson Mandela then? Nelson Mandela says if you are a black person in South Africa, you can't discharge both at the same time. So, for a black person in South Africa, you can't discharge this twin obligation at the same time. Either you can take care of your family, then you have to forget your countrymen, or if you start fighting for your countrymen, you have to forget your family because you'll be separated from your family. As we all know, that Nelson Mandela had to stay in the jail for around 27 years. Why? He raised his voice for his fellow men, his fellow countrymen. So that is twin obligation. Okay, and he says in South Africa, only the black people have this problem. They can't discharge both at the same time. Either you love your family, you take care of your family, you forget your country, or you take care of your country, you think about your countrymen, you work for your society, then you forget your family. That's it. So you can't discharge both the duties at the same time. Okay, and then he describes about very important concept, freedom. He says, I was born free. I never had any problem when I was born. I was free. So, freedom for him, the concept of freedom for him in the beginning was very, very interesting. He says that as long as I obeyed my father, I followed the rules and regulations of my tribe, I was free. I can do whatever I want. And his needs were limited. He wanted to go and play in the field. He wanted to run with the animals. He wanted to go and jump into the river and get a bath. That was his requirements, nothing more. He wanted to go outside, play, that's it. And he says, I was free. I never had any restriction. I simply had to obey my father, and I had to follow the instructions of my tribe. That's it. Done. I was free. But later he understood freedom is transitory. Transitory means it will change. Day by day it will change. When you grow up, you will understand that freedom has a different meaning. He says, as a student, his concept of freedom changed. What is that concept? He wanted to go out at night, late night. He wanted to go out. He wanted to read the books which pleased him. He wanted to study whatever he wanted. He wanted to say whatever he wanted. So he wanted freedom of movement, he wanted freedom of education, he wanted to read things whatever he want, he wanted freedom of speech. All these things were his requirements when he became a student later on. But when he grew up, he became a young man, then he realized the freedom was an illusion. His freedom is already taken away by the whites, because he understood what is freedom then. So in a childhood days, his concept of freedom was different. When he became a student, again the concept changed. That's why he says it is transitory. It will go on changing. So when he became a young man, he realized that he wanted to have the freedom to keep his money. He wanted to get a job. He wanted to marry whomever he pleased to marry. He wanted to achieve his potential. So these were his demands when he became a young man, and then he realized his freedom was already taken away. He doesn't have the freedom to do that. He as a black man doesn't have the freedom to study whatever he wants, to go and get a job which pleases him, to have a family, to collect money, wages, to maintain his family, to marry someone whom he pleased. Nothing was permitted. No permission was there. And that is when he realized that he's not free. And then he made one more understanding. What is it? It is not that I am not free. Whoever who looks like me, they are also not free. Not just me who's restriction, who has got restriction, the others also who looks like me. He means the black people. They were also not free. And that is when he thought, I need to do something. Yeah, people were oppressed. I need to do something. And as a result, he joined ANC, African National Congress. And that is when he started fighting for justice for the others, not for him, for everybody. And then he says what happened in his life. This fight had brought in lot of changes, lot of transformation. What were those transformation? He says the transformations were a frightened young man. He was a frightened young man, changed, transformed into a bold guy. So a frightened young man became a bold guy. A law abiding attorney, an advocate, a lawyer, a law abiding attorney became a criminal. He was labeled as a criminal. Why? He was fighting against the government. So when you start fighting against the government, you'll be labeled as a criminal. Even if you are an advocate, you are a lawyer. Then a person who loves life, he was someone who loved life. Earlier he said, I wanted to go out, I want to read whatever I want, I want to get a good job, I want to marry whomever I pleased. So these shows that he loved life. But such a man had to leave his family, was separated from his family. And finally, what happened? So he had to live the life of a monk. So someone who loved his life wanted to live the life of a monk. Why? He was separated from his family. So a frightened young man transformed into a bold one. A law-abiding attorney became labeled as a criminal. A life-loving man had to live without a family. And someone who wanted to enjoy the beauties of life, he became a monk. What to do? So this was the condition, and that is when he fought. That much sacrifices he had to give. And finally, towards the end, he speaks about the oppressed, the oppressor and the oppressed. He says, the oppressor and the oppressed, both of them are robbed of humanity. They don't have humanity. Obviously, the oppressed person, one who is suppressed by another person, that is the oppressed one. Okay, so the oppressed one will not have any humanity. He will not have any basic rights. And the oppressor, he also doesn't have any humanity. Why? If you love the life of others, if you have some sort of sympathy towards others, will you oppress that person? No. So the oppressor and the oppressed, both of them have been robbed by from their humanity. So you have to liberate both. That's what he says. If you want to end this oppression, you have to liberate both the oppressor as well as the oppressed. That is when you can save your people from oppression. See, for example, a simple example. We are talking about slavery. Say, let it be slavery. There is a man who has a slave. You want to free that slave. You can go to that man, tell him that, okay, what you're doing is not good. I can pay you the ransom. I can give you the money. You please leave your slave free. Maybe the man will take money from you and then leave that slave free. Okay, you're done your duty. You have released the slave. But did you change that man? No. The man has money. His attitude has not changed. Next day, he will go and buy another slave. So the story continues. Right? That is indirectly what is suggested by Nelson Mandela. Do you want to end oppression? Save both. Let both of them be free. Let the oppressor also understand that he has been robbed of humanity. He doesn't have any humanity. He doesn't have love towards others. And let the oppressed also be released from oppression. That is where the lesson concludes. Hope the areas are clear. If you have any further doubts on this lesson, you can go ahead. Thank you so much for coming out with this. And Athar, okay, Athar, yes, very good. Athar, let's go with Mijbil. Mijbil the Otter. Okay. Now, what happens in Mijbil the Otter? We have the narrator who is traveling in Iraq, Baghdad. He's traveling in Iraq. Then what happens with this guy? And in between, please don't feel bad. Please kindly share this link with your friends. Ask your friends also to join. Let them also learn. Let them also get a chance to clear their doubts. It'll be great for everybody, so that together we can learn. Together we can help each other. Okay, because when we are discussing some points, you're also helping us in the comment box by contributing your answers. I hope it will be great for others also. Okay, let's go ahead. Mijbil the author. So we are discussing about the narrator for unseen passages. Now they are different to so taking time and leading to lack of time and leaving of questions. Okay, Sangeet, we'll come to that. Okay, let's help other of us. Let us discuss about Mijbil the author. Then definitely I'll give you tips on how to write the exam, how to manage the time, which section you have to write first, which next, what are the issues that you're gonna face. Okay, don't worry, I'm here to help you out. Okay, we'll have a great time tomorrow. So first of all, let's discuss Mijbil the Otter. So what happens in Mijbil the Otter? There is a narrator who decides to like uh, get uh, a pet for him. He had a pet actually. He had a pet, and he had lost that pet. He was very closely connected with that pet, and he had this pet. He lost it. So as it was a dog actually, and as a result, later on, he was not interested to have any pets. But furthermore, he felt very lonely in his life. He thought, okay, let me have a new pet. So he shared this idea with one of his friends who was there with him when he visited Baghdad, Iraq. And as a result, they went, and the man told him that since you are in Iraq, it'll be a great idea if you can have an otter as your pet. So the man was so happy. He thought, okay, I'll get an otter, because he thought he's living in a place called Camusferna in Scotland, where you have this marshy area and all. So that's the best place to have an otter. So otter, as we all know, it's a strange animal. Usually people will never keep it as pets, but in Iraq they had a habit of taming these otters and keeping it as pets. And it used to like to spend its time in the water body areas, next to the water body area, in the marshes, by the way. So this man told the narrator that, okay, it is a great idea. Let me take this otter also with me uh, back home. So he was thinking about all this, and then days went by. And one day, he was surprised to find that two Arabs were in his flat. They waited for him, and they gave him an otter. And that otter was a gift from his friend who had earlier suggested him that he should have an otter. And that's the first experience that the narrator is going to have with the otter. And then what happens? He takes the otter out, but the otter doesn't seem to be very friendly. Maybe it is afraid of him. So it stays away from him. It was completely dirty, very dirty, because as we all know, it spends its time in the muds, in the marshy lands. So what he did, he tries to clean the otter, but in the first 24 hours, it is not that friendly. But the next day onwards, it's slightly started showing some kind of an attachment with the narrator. It even went to his bed and slept on his knees, at the backside of his knees, and gradually, he started developing a good bond with the otter. And then he took the otter to the bath area where he washed the otter. And that's the first time he realized that, oh, how much crazy this animal is about water. He says that the otters are using even the last drop of water that you have. The last drop of water that you have. Where that much interested they were in water. He was splashing water, jumping, licking, hitting and all. And later on, 2 3 days later, he found that the otter himself had left to the bathroom and opened the tap. It could even open the tap, and it got water, and it was playing. It was so happy. And later on, one day, the author found that the otter was so angry because he couldn't open the tap, because he was just pulling it in the other way. Earlier one day, somehow, maybe by fluke, it was able to open the tap, so it got plenty of water. But this time, second time when he was trying, it was not able to do that. Anyhow, uh, within 1 month, they had a great rapport. They were very happy, and they developed a special bond. And finally, the narrator had to leave. He had to go back. So then they had this issue. What is it? What issue? The issue is very simple. How to take this animal back home? He has to travel by an aeroplane, and you can't take an animal as like it's a pet animal. It's not a wild animal. So if you wanna take an animal in an aeroplane, you need special permission. So he went to different airlines. Nobody permitted him. Finally, he got a permission, and that was a different airline. He had to first go to Paris, and from there he had to go to London. So the airline people said, "Okay, sir, you can carry it," and they gave some instructions. And you should have a box of this much width and this much height, likewise, and you can put the otter inside, keep it with you. So the narrator made all the arrangements. He kept the otter inside the box. Before 5 minutes before he left, he started his journey. He put the otter inside just to make sure that, sorry, half an hour before, so that the otter may get familiar with this particular box, so that he is comfortable there. But after a while, when he came back, he found the box near the lid of the box. There were blood stains. There was blood everywhere, and the man was shocked. He suddenly, quickly, broke the lid, the lock of the lid, and then he opened and he found the otter was actually in excitement. The otter tries to get out. It tries to get out of this box, and it bit everywhere, and as a result, there were wounds on its body, and from the wounds, the blood was flowing out. He was so shocked. Now he doesn't have much time left. He needs to go ahead, right? So he immediately took the otter out. He cleaned it. He somehow wiped all the blood stains from the box. He put it inside, rushed to the car, told the driver that he is in a hurry, and within 5 minutes he reached the uh, uh, like airport. And from there, he was actually scolded by the airline authorities because he was late. So somehow he managed to get inside the plane. He kept the box next to him, and then the air hostess came in and he told her, "I have this otter with me. So what should I do?" The airline was very friendly, and the air hostess was also very kind. And she said, "Okay, sir, what you can do is you can keep it with you, this otter, and take care of it." And he opened the lid, and within no time, the otter jumped. He rushed out, and then he created a commotion inside the aeroplane. He went here and there everywhere, and people were calling, they were jumping, they were shrieking, they were confused, what kind of animal is it? Somebody said that there's a rat. It is a rat inside the aeroplane. So there was total chaos, total confusion, and even the narrator also rushed after the otter, wanted to grab the otter to get onto the otter, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't get in. And the lady came to him, the air hostess came to him and told him that, "Okay, sir, you do one thing. You stay here. I'll go and collect it." And then finally, he was sitting, he was waiting, and after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the otter came back. So that was the funny incident that they had inside the airplane. So finally, he reached back in London. There, he had to stay for around 1 month. And since Otter was already very friendly with him, just like any other pet, he used to go out for a walk with the Otter. And the Londoners, they were in for a surprise. They were quite surprised to find a strange animal with him. And people came out with a lot of suggestions. They said that, "Okay, what sort of animal is this? Is this a walrus? Is this a bear cub? Is this a leopard? Lot of confusion. Is this a seal?" Somebody said that it's a baby seal. So nobody could really identify what an otter is. They were all confused. And the narrator, in a way, indirectly, he also enjoyed this confusion of the people. And he says that I can appreciate everybody except one person, a worker. He says that he had asked the $1 million question to me. The best question to me about otter was asked by a laborer. They were on their way. They were moving out, they were going somewhere, and there was this worker who was busy with his work, and he noticed that the narrator is coming with the otter. He stopped there, stopped his work, looked at the otter just like this, stared at it, and then he went to him and asked the narrator this very impressive question. He said, "Hey, mister, what is this supposed to be? Could you please tell me what is this supposed to be?" That was the strangest question that he had ever experienced in his life. Anyhow, the whole lesson narrates about how he started developing a great bond with otters, how that bond went on in his life, and how people were very much confused, and how people of London were introduced to this animal called otter. That's all. So, what is it next that we have to discuss? I hope it is clear. We were Adhar and Sangeet, both of them wanted to have an idea. The passage. Yes, Sangeet, passage. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead with the passage. What to do with the passage? That's a very important question. Remember, the structure of the passage has changed a lot. Earlier, we had a different type of passage, different type of questions, but this year, we have a totally different kind of passage which needs special attention from our side. Okay. Now, what is your plan? When are you going to write the passage? Are you going to attend the passage in the beginning of the exam, or are you going to have it in the middle, or will you attend it at the end? What do you say? What is your opinion? What should we do? Let's have a group discussion. Let's let us let us in the beginning. Sangeet says in the beginning. What do you say, Adar? Yeah, as you suggest. Okay. Uh, See, children, the best way to score marks in passage is by attending it in the beginning itself. Now, why is it? Very simple. It's not rocket science. When you start your exams, your brain will be fresh. Your mind will be fresh. As a result, what happened? You'll be a little bit more patient. You can concentrate. You can put more effort, and you have plenty of time also in the beginning. Later on, if you keep the passage till the last minute, what will happen? You won't have any time left. As a result, you'll be rushing. You'll be rushing, and you won't be even getting enough time to read the passage and find out the exact answer. Remember one thing, my dear little children. Remember one thing. There are some passages which even we teachers can't understand when they read it once. We have to go for multiple time reading, multiple times, 2 3 times. Then only we'll understand. Then only we'll be able to find out answers. So if your teachers, experienced teachers, mature teachers, they won't get the answers in one reading, two reading. How do you expect all the children to get answers? Ex- yes, there are highly competent children. I can understand that. I appreciate that, but I'm talking about in general. Okay, so make it as a habit that you have to be patient with the passage. You have to give yourself time to find out answer to the passage. So my suggestion to you is, you may start, your exam should start from 10:15, 10:15 a.m. I hope all over India we have exams on the same time. I don't know. I believe it is on the same time. 10 o'clock, you will get your answer booklet. 10:15, you will get your question paper. Maybe in some places, because of weather and some other conditions, there could be a change. So that's why I'm not sure about it. Anyhow, the first 15 minutes is for you to go through your answer booklet where you can write. Okay, so the next 15 minutes, I'm talking about the second half. The second 15 minute, the cool off time. That is the time when you have to start your exam for English, not for other subjects, for English. So you start your exam from that moment. You start with your passage. Start reading the passage. So what's the formula? How to do with the passage? Get the passage, take the passage, read it once. Understand it. Understand it. Try to understand what is the theme, what is the concept, which are the major words, which are the main ideas discussed. Try to read it once and try to develop a familiarity with the passage. Now, what is next? Go to the questions, then read the passage a second time. So, when you read the passage for the second time, you already have read the questions. So, some of the questions are feeded here. So, when you read the passage the second time, you may see that in this area, I've got a question. For this question, there is a connection in this area. Likewise, you'll be able to identify that particular area where you'll get your answers. So we'll complete the second reading of the passage. Then also we won't write the answers. Okay. Then we'll go for the third time. And third time, straight away, we're going for the answers. We'll read the question, go to the passage, locate the answer. That's it. What is it? Read the passage, read the questions, find out the answer. That we'll do on the third time. Don't worry, Athar. I'll give you a correct timing. Okay. Just listen to me. I'll give you exact timing, what you have to do, which area, which time you have to write. I can help you out. Don't worry. Okay. So first, that's why I told you we'll start our reading passage. We'll start writing our answers from the cool of time itself. So during the cool of time, usually what do? We'll read the questions, we'll think about the answers. But for English, we'll not follow that pattern. For English, we'll start with the cool of time. That's the time we'll take our reading passage, we'll start finding out answers. We'll leave everything. So our exam begins from the cool of time. So that when the cool of time is over, that is that 15 minutes are over, we are ready with our first answer to write. So when the bell rings for you to start your exam, that moment onwards you can start writing. Or else what happens, you'll simply read the other portions, you'll waste your time, and after 10:30, you'll start, when the exam has to start, you'll start reading your passages. When you start reading your passages, what happens? Again, you'll have to eat up a lot of time. So let's be wise, let us be intelligent, let us use the available time. So more and more our friends are joining. Welcome to the session. You can drop your messages in the chat box. Let us discuss it together. Right now we're discussing about the comprehension passage. Okay. So what to do during the cool of time? Start your answers. Okay. Don't worry, Neelu. Don't worry. Models we can discuss. Don't worry. Okay. So the questions for tomorrow's exam. Yeah, we'll come to that. Let's discuss this one more time. So what happens? We have to start with the reading passage. We have to read it during the cool of time. Read it 3 times. First time read it, then read the question. Read it second time, then go for the question. Start finding out the answer. So the third time you will be starting to find out the answers. Remember that, because let us be confident about the hi, Raj. Let us be confident about the answers. We have to be sure about the answer also. That's also again very important. Simply when you read the question and read the passage once, you may get an answer. But we have to be extremely careful, because reading passage is an area where we got 20 marks. And the 20 marks are printed in the question paper. So you have to be smart. Let us collect the 20 marks. Let us not drop even a single mark. So we have to be smart. So all the marks are available in the question paper. That's the funny thing about it. So if we can't collect it, then it is our fault. So pay complete attention, read it again and again, and find out the answer. And do you know the passage type questions? There are 8 questions for every passage. 8 questions. Remember, 10 marks. 10 marks for 8 questions. That means 6 questions carrying single mark. 6 questions carrying single marks. Then 2 questions carrying 2 marks each. 6 questions with single mark, 2 questions carrying 2 marks each. So that means we don't have any choice. We have to write all the questions. And 2 questions demands you to write the answers in detail. 2 mark questions, 2 questions, 2 mark questions in reading passage. So be very, very confident, be very, very careful when you're giving your answers. We have only very few MCQ questions there, maybe 2 or 3 questions where we can select the option and write. So reading passage area, we have to be very careful. We start it in the cool of time, and as soon as the bell rings, we'll start writing the answers. You can take 1 hour for reading. 1 hour for reading. That is the maximum. Maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's the highest. Don't cross that limit. You got two passages, 20 marks. Your maximum time is 1 hour. Finish it within 1 hour. It's a race against time, race against clock. Finish it in 1 hour. Maybe if you can't do it, maximum take 1 hour and 15 minutes. Don't take it beyond that. Okay? Don't go beyond that. Then you'll be a failure. You won't get marks there. So better be very careful. Okay. Then moving on. After reading, what should we do? Which area we should take? Which area we have to focus? That is up to you. And if you ask me, I'll say go with the literature. Go with the literature. Because what happens, children keeps literature till the end. And then what happens towards the end, there are two questions carrying 6 marks. At the end, there are two questions carrying 6 marks. Just imagine, we couldn't manage time. We couldn't write it on time, and we have to skip one question out of that. We're gonna easily lose 6 marks. So my suggestion to you, after the first 1 hour or maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes, you go for your literature part. You can take 1 hour for literature. There is time. You can take 1 hour for literature. 40 marks. You can do it very easily. You can do it. Then 20 minutes for grammar. Grammar, 12 questions are there. Out of this 12 question, you have to attempt any 10. Out of 12 questions, you have to attempt any 10. My suggestion to you, go for all the 12. Go for all the 12 because it is like best of 12. That is how they're going to evaluate your answers. So go for all the 12. Let us give ourselves a chance to earn maximum marks, more marks. That should be the way. Okay. So grammar question actually, for every question, you can take 1 minute maximum. So 10 questions or 12 questions means 12 minutes. I'm giving you 20 minutes. You take 20 minutes. 20 minutes for grammar. Then take 20 minutes for writing. There are two questions. One letter, one, one letter and one analytical paragraph. You give it 15 minutes each. Finally, again, you will have 10 minutes extra in your pocket. 1 hour for reading, 1 hour for grammar, 2 hours. 20 minutes for grammar. So 2 hour, 20 minutes. Then 30 minutes for writing, 15, 15 each. So 2 hour, 20 plus 30, 2 hour, 15 minutes. That means still we have got 10 minutes to check and verify our answers. If in this pattern, if we can go, that'll be great. Okay, so let's come to the other topics that you. There are a lot of people giving a lot of questions. I'm trying to help you out with the. So there is a question regarding which chapters are likely to have questions for tomorrow's exam. That is a very difficult question. I don't think nobody in the world can help you out with that question because we've got that much number of chapters. So from any chapter they can ask you any question. Okay, so don't worry. And let's come to grammar. So another question, grammar. Grammar and sermon. I'm coming to sermon. Okay, don't worry, Sangeet. I'm coming to sermon. Let's discuss grammar. Remember, my dear children, which are the questions regarding grammar? In grammar, we have three questions from reported speech. Reported speech. Three questions will be there. Definitely will be there. Then three questions are a correction. Okay. Then the fill-ups. The areas are tenses, modals. Modals means modal auxiliaries. Then reporting, obviously editing. These are the areas in grammar. Okay. So if you can concentrate on these areas, you can definitely score marks. And don't worry, this reporting is not a great thing actually. By the way, reporting is very easy. You have to learn it accordingly, learn it in that sense. And editing also. If you know some amount of English, you can manage editing. But remember, you have to draw that box when you're putting the editing answers. To draw the box, divide it into two: error and correction. Two words you have to write. If you identify error, you will get half marks. Okay, what? Half marks for identifying the error, half marks for giving the correction. So it is an area where you can score marks. At least you can, if you can identify the error, you'll get half marks, right? So that area you'll get. Don't worry, you can definitely do it. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay. Now, before we go to sermon and Banaras, let us quickly discuss about this between the difference between are and where. Very simple, name. Are and where. Both are known as auxiliaries. Are and where. One, are stands for present tense, where stands for past tense. Both are used with the plural subjects. What is this plural subjects? We we are learning English now. We are learning English now. Present tense. What is happening now? Tomorrow you can say yesterday we were discussing English. We were discussing English. Both comes in the continuous form, ing form. Ing form together with ing is a weak form. Alone it concern. For example, I learning English. That is wrong. You should say I am learning English. You should say I was learning English. We should say we were learning English. We should say we are learning English. So this ing form when you're using, you need an auxiliary before it. So these auxiliaries are is, am, are. Then the other family was, where. Then has, have, had. Then do, does, did. Then comes the modal auxiliaries, which are can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might. Okay, these are the common words that you may get in the question. So this is the difference between are and where. Both are used with plural subjects. Are is used in the present tense. Where is used in the past tense. Okay, that's it. Then unseen pacific traits. Are you listening? Yes, I'm listening. So I'm listening to you, my dear friends. I know that a lot of questions are coming. I'm trying to help you out. Okay. Letter to the editor. We'll discuss. Please wait. Wait. Whoever it is, Mr. Devil, whoever it is, you please wait, my dear son. Definitely, we'll discuss letter to editor. I would like to help you out. I'd like to help you out. I'm here to help you out. If you give me some time, I can really help you out. Okay. So ceremony at Banaras. I'm coming one by one according to the chat box. I'm coming one by one. Okay. So Saramanet Banaras, quickly, let's get into Saramanet Banaras. Saramanet Banaras discusses about Buddha's concepts of suffering and liberation from suffering. So in Saramanet Banaras, we discuss about Buddha's beginning. You know, Buddha was just like all of us, the great Buddha, enlightened one. He was just like all of us. He was a prince. And then one day what happened when he went out, as a prince, you know that you'll be living in all the luxuries. Okay. Don't worry, Mr. Devil. Don't worry. Don't get nervous. I am here. I'll help you out. Don't worry. We'll study together. Okay, don't worry. I'll be patient. I'll be waiting till the last moment. I'll help you out. Okay, don't worry. Don't get worried. I'll try my level best. Okay, let's come back to Sarman at Banaras. So in Sarman at Banaras, what happens? Buddha, his name is Siddhartha Gautama. That was his actual name. He was a prince. And we all know that. You might have studied the story of Happy Prince last year. So same way, he was happy, right? So same way, Siddhartha Gautama was also very happy. He had no issues in his life. So happy as a prince. So one day he went out for a hunting. Usually kings and emperors, these princes, they all go for hunting. So at that time, there were some scenes which he saw, which really disturbed him. He saw a funeral procession. What is a funeral procession? Funeral procession means, the dead bodies, you're carrying for cremation. That is funeral procession. He saw that. He saw a monk begging for alms. Monk, sannyasi, begging for alms to make a living. He was begging. The monk was begging. Okay. Then he saw an old man. When you are in your old age, you'll have a lot of physical disabilities, lot of difficulties to survive. So he saw such an old man. Okay. And then he saw a sick man. So he saw a funeral procession, a monk begging for alms, an old man, a sick man. Four types of suffering people. So when somebody is dead, we'll be crying, isn't it? We'll be suffering mentally a lot, emotionally a lot. When you are in your old age, if you are not well, physically you are suffering, right? So people are suffering. So the sufferings, four types of suffering came into his view. And this really disturbed him. He lost his sleep. He couldn't sleep. He started thinking why people are suffering. What is the reason? Why do we suffer? This was very difficult for him to find out an answer for. And as a result, one day he left the palace. He went in search of truth. He went to different people, searched everywhere, went to many great pundits, asked them, Sir, why do we suffer? What's the reason for suffering? But nobody could give him a correct answer. So he was confused. He wandered everywhere for 7 years. 7 years. Then finally one day he came to this place called Bodh Gaya. There he sat under a tree. Then he started meditation. He took a pledge that I will not move from here until I get answers to my questions. So he started meditation. He stayed there for 7 days. And on the seventh day, it is believed that he got enlightenment. Enlightenment means great wisdom, divine wisdom. One who can give answers to all your questions. That is wisdom, great wisdom, enlightenment. And that is when he was turned to Buddha. Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama was called as Buddha, the enlightened, one who has divine wisdom, intelligence, who can give answers to all your questions, not like me. I'm just a human being. But Buddha, the great. And then what happens? Buddha starts giving his preaches, his speech. And those speeches, when you speak about religion, when you speak about morality, good things in life, that is known as sermons. He started giving speeches, and the first sermon was given in Banaras. So that's why the lesson is titled as Sermon as Banaras. So in that sermon, he speaks about his experience about a lady called Kisa Gautami, who had a son. She was a very loving mother. She loved her son a lot. Unfortunately for her, yeah, Anima will help you. Anima. So unfortunately for her, she lost her son. She lost her son, and the son was dead. But as a mother, she couldn't recognize it. She doesn't want to recognize it. She doesn't want to understand the truth that she lost her son. Her son is dead. What did she do? She took carried the child in her arms and went from house to house. Told them that okay, my son is not well. Give me some medicine. I want to cure this baby, cure this boy. Everybody felt bad, sympathy towards her. They said she has now become mad out of her love towards her son because the child is dead. Who can help her? Once somebody is dead, you can't come back to life. So here, what happens? So it was very very difficult for her. And there was one guy. There was one guy. What happened? He told her that I don't have medicine for you, but I know one person. Go to Sakya Muni, the Buddha. He can help you. So the lady, she was so happy, excited because she went from door to door. Nobody could help her. She went to Buddha, kept the baby, dead baby, in front of Buddha, and demanded Buddha, Lord Buddha, sir, please help me. My son is not well. Give him some medicine. And Buddha, everybody knows that the child is dead. But her motherly affection, you can't blame her. She's a mother who gives life to children, right? So she was so much connected to her child. So Buddha said, okay, I can help you out. You do one thing. Get me a handful of mustard seeds. Handful, this much. This much mustard seeds. Mustard seeds are not very costly. Everywhere it is available. You go to any house, you will get it. Get me a handful of mustard seeds. You bring it to me. I'll help you. The lady was so excited. She said, "Okay, that's easy. I'll go. I'll collect it." But then Buddha said, "There's a condition. One condition is there. What is it? Collect it from a house where nobody has so far dead. Nobody should be dead from that house. Nobody should be dead in that family. From such a house, you have to collect it." Even then, the lady didn't understand. She, out of her passion, her emotion, she didn't realize what is the condition. So she went from door to door. She asked people, "Okay, give me a handful of mustard. My son is not well. And Buddha had told me that if I can give him this handful of mustard, he can help me." So everybody said, "Okay, we can give you." So she collected. But after that, she'll be asking, "Is there anyone dead in your family?" Then they'll say, "Yes." Alas, unfortunately, the dead are more than the living. If we discuss about the dead people, we'll be sad. That's what they used to say. So she went from place to place, from one place to the other. She asked everybody for this mustard seed. Everybody was ready to give her, but unfortunately, when she checked them whether anybody is dead from that family, they all said, "Yes, we have lost somebody. Somebody is dead. Maybe somebody's father, somebody's mother, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's child, somebody's husband." So everybody has lost someone in their life. So by evening, she was so tired. She was so disappointed. She was sitting on the pavement roadside. She realized that I was wrong. Death is common to all. I didn't realize that. She looked at the street lights, which were flickering, flickering, and then she realized that human life is like that, very short. It'll come, it'll shine bright, it'll go, it'll get extinguished. So that realization she had, finally, she accepted the truth that death is common. And Buddha also says life is also similar to that. We need to understand that there will be suffering. Suffering is common to everybody. So you have to be very careful. You should take out the arrow of lamentation from your life, leave it. Don't cry. If you cry, the dead person will not come back. And can you change somebody's death? No. Can you postpone somebody's death? No. It'll come when it has to come. So, what is the use of lamentation? Crying. Lament means to cry. Why do you cry? Even if you cry, you can save a person. Father can't save a child from death. Likewise, vice versa, the child can also can't save his father from death. So why do we cry? We need to get out of this, get rid of this arrow of lamentation from our life. We need to understand that this common to us. And we are all gonna perish one day or the other. That is the story, sermon at Banaras. I hope it is clear to you. And letter to editor. Can we move on to letter to editor? Letter to editor is a very, very important question in the writing part. Do you know how many types of questions are there in the writing part? Anybody, can you drop a message over there? How many types of questions are there in the writing part? How many types? Two types are there. Thank you, Adar. There are two types of questions. One is obviously, one is obviously what this letters. The other one is analytical paragraph. Letter and analytical. Correct the notes. Letter and analytical paragraph. Okay, now next question to you. How many different types of letters do we have to study? How many types of letters are there? How many types of letters? Can anybody tell me the answer? How many types of letters are there? Yes, junior editor, I'll come to you. Yes, chief, there are four types. Great, other, yes, great. Four types are there. Which are they? We all know. Number one, letter to the editor. Letter to the editor. Number two, letter of inquiry. Number three, letter of complaint. Number four, letter of placing order. So, to the editor, inquiry, complaint, placing order. These are the four categories, out of which the most common question is letter to the editor. Usually we can expect letter. There are choices, okay? We have got two questions or questions are there. So mostly we find that letter to the editor is one among them. Usually we'll have letter to the editor there. This letter to the editor is an interesting question where you'll have to write about some social issue. You'll be writing on behalf of somebody, maybe your locality, maybe the people of your area. You have to write about them. So you'll be representing a group of people somewhere. Maybe they'll say that you are the president of the local residents association. You'll have to write about it. So some social issue is what we have to write. Okay. So what to do with letter to the editor? Remember one thing: the format of all these questions are the same, whether it is letter to the editor, letter of complaint, letter of inquiry, letter of placing order, except in between some areas. The rest of the area, the format is the same. Let's start with the from address. The first address is the from address. That is your address, the person who's writing the letter, sender's address. Next, we have the date. The date in an expanded form. Usually, we write date like, so, okay, what is today's date? Like 25/02 2024. That is how we write. Don't write like that. When you are writing, write in an expanded form. What is expanded form? 25th February 2024. That's how you have to write. That's called expanded form. And remember, everything is left aligned. You have to start from the left side. Okay, it's very important. We have to start from the left side. Okay, so left aligned is what we have to write, starting with the from address, followed by the date, followed by the to address. So, what's a to address for a letter to editor? Simple: the editor, name of a newspaper, then the place. Say, for example, the editor, okay, the editor, then followed by, see, the New Indian Express, followed by, say, Mumbai, Chennai, likewise. You have to give the place also. Then afterwards, we can have either the salutation or the subject. Salutation or subject. There is no concrete format which should come first. You can go for salutation, or if you want, you can go for the subject. Whatever it is welcome, most welcome. Okay. So I'm coming to that analytical paragraph also. We'll discuss analytical paragraph. Don't worry. So then from address, date in expanded form to address. Then comes, say, let it be salutation. After salutation, subject. Even the vice versa, both are acceptable. Okay. So what is salutation? Dear sir, dear sir. And we have to, yes, junior editor, we have to give a line blank between each section. Say, for example, we'll write from address. No need to write the word from. Okay, remember that. No need to write the word from. FROM, from. No need to write that because it is understood. The first address is from address. First address is from address. So don't repeat the word from. Hmm? So remove it. Start with the address and don't write the person's name also when you're writing your address. Say, for example, you can start like house number 27, aka Residence Association, Balaji Road, Hyderabad. This is how you can write your from address. So don't waste your time in writing address and all. That is not going to help you to score marks. The condition is there should be an address. That's it. Don't try go for beautification. Sometimes in the question paper the address will be given. In some cases it won't be there. Okay. Then from address, leave a column blank, not a line blank. Write the date, leave a line blank. Write the to address, leave a line blank. Salutation, leave a line blank. Subject, leave a line blank. We'll start. So, what is the salutation? Dear sir, dear sir or ma'am, dear sir or ma'am. No need to write respected sir. Okay, you can write dear sir. That's the latest format that we are following. Then put a comma and start with your first paragraph. What is your first paragraph in letter to editor? Can anybody tell me? This much people are here. Can you tell me what is the first paragraph called in a letter to editor? The first paragraph of letter to editor. What do we call? Yes, junior editor, that is how we'll start. But the first paragraph is called as the introduction paragraph, where you'll introduce yourself. So you should say, I am so and so residing in this place. Say, for example, you should say, I am Mahesh Kumar, a resident of Borivali Gardens, Navi Mumbai. This is how you can write. Okay. So the first is introduction paragraph. You will say, I am so and so, a resident of this place. Then you can say, I am a frequent reader of your newspaper, or you can say, I am a subscriber of your newspaper. Then we'll go for this sentence. What is it? Through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, I would like to draw your attention to the following. Okay, so this is called your first paragraph. Next, we'll go to the content paragraph, the second paragraph. Could you please hit that like button if you are there, everybody, so that it may help me to go forward, to motivate me. Okay, so go ahead. If you like the content, hit the like button. Going. So the second paragraph is through the columns. After this, through the columns paragraph, the introduction. So in the introduction paragraph, you need to tell who you are, where do you from, where are you from. Then you are a subscriber of the newspaper. Then we'll say through the columns of your newspaper, I like to do this. Then we have this content paragraph. Remember, my dear children, that's the most important paragraph. There is where you're going to score marks. The second paragraph, the content paragraph. There you have to present your issue. Generally, letter to editor is going with an issue. So since it is an issue, what should we do? We have to present it through an incident. Say, for example, we are talking about stray dogs, stray animals, stray dogs. Okay, so how do you start your issue? You start with an incident. Say, for example, my brother, who's in class 4, was yesterday going to his school. He was walking through the school, and suddenly he was attacked by two stray dogs. He was badly wounded, badly injured, and unfortunately, now he's in the hospital. This is an incident. So you can start with an incident. Then you should say that this is the third incident of the same month. So you're coming to the incident very easily. To the topic, you can touch the topic very easily. So start with an incident. Say, for example, theft or robbery. You should say that last night, one of my neighbor's house, there were an old couple. They were attacked by the robbers. They brutally beat them and then robbed them. So then you should say this is the second incident within the last 4 weeks. So this is how you can come to the topic. So go with an incident, get to the topic. That'll be fine. That'll be great. That is how you're going to get the attention of the teachers, those who are correcting your papers. That is where you're going to get A1, right? You're going to score the full mark. So you will go with the incident, then you will come to the topic. And you're presenting your topic. What is your topic? Stray animals, stray dogs. Okay. And then you'll say robbery. Then you'll say, what are the issues? Then there could be a lot many issues. Okay. Transportation problem in your area, lack of street lights, road maintenance, lack of water supply, electricity shortage. Anything could be asked, anything in general. Okay, so you come to that problem, and if you are citing a problem, remember, when you present a problem, you are presented a problem through an incident. So next thing, when you present a problem, remember, my dear children, you have to present the reasons also. Present your reason. What is your problem? Present your reason. After the reason, after the reason, go for the solutions also. Say, what is your problem? Stray dogs. What is the reason? What could be the possible reasons? Because the authorities are not minding it. Proper birth control actions are not being taken. That is one reason. Second thing, and like waste, garbage disposal, unprofessional way. Yes, the reason is compulsory, I mean. The reason is compulsory. That is when you make your letter very effective one. So you have an issue, you give it a reason. Just think in real world, you will get reasons. Say, for example, the stray animals, stray dogs. What is the reason? Birth control is not properly done by the authorities. One reason is not enough, but even if you can write one reason, that is good. At least you write one reason. If you think you may get multiple reasons, at least you go for one reason. Okay. Second thing, waste disposal, improper waste disposal. So these are the reasons. So when you have a reason, you have can give suggestion also. Give suggestion also. Then you should say, I believe, I think we can do these things. So how to get to the solutions? Very simple. I can give you a trick. Do you want a trick to find out solution? Give me a yes. Give me a yes. It's a trick. Very easy trick to get the solutions. If you give your reason, you can get your solution also. Suppose this is your reason, put it upside down. That is your solution. You go the opposite way. Proper birth controlling of the dogs is not done. That is the reason for the problem. So what is the solution? Do it. Do it, man. Get the dogs, get the stray animals, go for birth control. Then proper waste disposal is not done. That is why these animals are getting lot of food and they have become bulky. They are attacking people. What is the solution? Find out way for waste disposal. Don't let the garbage heaped up on the streets. So you have the reason, put it opposite the way you will get the solution. So easy. So your content area is done. That is where you have the marks. 3 marks for content. 3 marks out of 5. 3 marks for content. That's why I told you. You give an incident, come to the topic, give the reasons, give the solutions. You'll get all the three. Then comes the conclusion. The last paragraph, third paragraph, conclusion. What should we say? What is our request to the editor? Why do we writing a letter to the editor? Why do we write? The editor can't come and solve your issue. Never ever write like that. Okay. Never write, sir, please solve this issue. Never write like that. It's wrong. What the editor can do, he can help you by publishing a news article. When he publishes a news article, we will get the attention of the authorities. So you have to make a request. Hope you have understood about evoking awareness towards solar energy. What are this letter asked in the 2017 board exam? Don't worry, that pattern has been gone. That won't be asked anymore. Okay, yeah, hoping the authorities concerned would look into this matter. And there you can say that I hope you have understood about the importance of. We have already discussed. Yeah, Yatish, we have already discussed the junior application. Just wait for a second. We'll discuss. One second. Okay, please wait. So, uh, hope you have understood about the above said matter. So, how we have to be very street smart. In the initial paragraph, introduction paragraph, we said, I would like to draw your attention to the following. So, we didn't say what it is. Then, after the content paragraph, we'll say, hope you have understood about the matter discussed above. There also, we didn't say what is the matter. So, these two paragraphs are tailor-made paragraph. You can use it for any letter to editor question. Then you should ask them to prepare, publish an article. Okay, publish an article on this item. Then you should say thanking you, yours sincerely or yours faithfully or yours truly, whichever you want, you can write. Then normal one, general one is yours faithfully. Go for that. So thanking you, yours faithfully. Put a signature. You have to put a signature. Put a signature, an imaginary signature, and write the name. Or else you can put SD, S capital S, small letter D, then a slash and a hyphen. SD. SD stands for signature dated. So either you can put a real signature, somebody's signature, imaginary signature, and write a name. So after signature, you should go for name. That's it. That is letter to the editor. So always request the editor to publish an article on this issue. I hope it is clear. Yes, letter of placing order is very important. Letter of placing order is actually very easy, to be frank. The best letter, if you ask me which letter I should write, if I am the student and I get the question paper where there is a letter of placing order is there, I'll surely go with letter of placing order because it is the easiest question to score marks. You don't have to study anything at all. Simply you can score very easily. There are tricks. I'll tell you the tricks. Don't worry. Just wait. Okay. So in between there was some other question. Twin obligation. Please bear with me, others. We have already discussed twin obligation. My dear Yatish, the twin obligation is, Nelson Mandela says, a man has two duties. Two obligation means duty, responsibility. One towards his family, second one towards his community, his people. Okay, these are the twin obligation. And he says that in South Africa, a black person can't discharge both at the same time. You can do only one at a time. Either you can take care of your family, you forget your country, you forget your people. Then, if you want to take care of your country, you work for your people, you forget your family. What happens? They'll arrest you, put you in the jail, so you'll be get separated from the family. So he says in South Africa, a black man, only for the black people, you can't discharge both at the same time. So what are the twin obligation? One is towards your family and your fellows, your people. Second one to your country and your society, your fellow people. That's it. Letter of placing order. Aneem, don't worry, we'll discuss. What to write a complaint about a damaged product received. Aneem. So Anima got a lot of queries. Then why is Valli upset when she is returning home? My dear child, junior editor, I'm coming to you, my dear. Then after that, I'll come to Anim. Okay, don't worry, just wait. Um yeah, Atish, go ahead. If you have any further doubts, you can put it. Tell your friends also to join so that we can together learn. Okay. So first we'll go with junior editor, then we'll come to Anim. Okay, wait, my dear children. So junior editor, why Wally is upset? Why is she upset? She was so excited when she went for the trip, and the most exciting thing that she saw was this cow running in front of the bus, blocking the road, and the drivers honking, continuously honking, and the cow was afraid of the bus and it was trying to run here and there, and finally it moved away. But when it came back, she found the same cow was dead, lying on the roadside. It was hit by some other vehicle. It was lying, it was bleeding, it was there. So this really made her sad. She it is like indirectly suggesting about the short living happiness. Okay, happiness is momentary. Never ever expect that throughout your life you'll be happy. No, happiness will come and go, and that is why she was sad. I hope it is clear. Now let's go to Anim. Anim, what should I discuss first? Complaint or letter of placing order? Your choice. Junior editor, where are you from, my dear child? Anim, what should I tell you first? Complaint or placing order? I don't know whether Anim is there. Maybe she might have lost the connection. Telangana Junior. Okay, great. What's your real name, Junior editor? I hope everything is fine in Telangana. All the very best for your tomorrow's exam. I hope you already had your second language. Maybe that was also good. Darshan, great Darshan. Have a great time, Darshan. If you have further doubts, you can put it. I don't know where Anim is. Anim has left the live. So when we discuss, if she's not there, it'll be a waste. Uh, why is Valli upset today? She's returning home. So now only Darshan is there with us. Okay. Darshan, any further doubts? Any other idea? Darshan? Don't worry, Darshan. I can help you out. Don't worry. And Mr. Devil, I think he also left. Analytical paragraph. Okay, my dear son. Analytical paragraph is the reason that developed the question in CBSE class 10. Analytical paragraph. But it's a very important question. People usually feel that it is a question where we will lose our marks. No, you have to put it in the proper way. Okay. Okay. So we have to put it in the chief. I'll come to that. First, let's discuss about analytical paragraph. So, how to make your answer? Remember, there is a difference between analysis and description. Usually, why do we lose our marks? Because we describe, we don't analyze. Analyze means deep study, comparison, and contrast. That is analysis. So when you simply describe it, it'll never become analysis. As a result, we won't get marks. So how to convert a description into analysis? Let's start to write how the answer should be written. First of all, start with the caption heading. Write analytical paragraph on the given topic. That is your first thing that you have to do. Second, analytical paragraph writing, you can prepare your answer in two paragraphs. Two paragraphs. Number one, the introduction paragraph. The introduction paragraph. What is this introduction paragraph? You have to identify the given figure. You have to identify the given data. That is introduction paragraph. Say, for example, you should say that the given pie chart, the given bar diagram, the given histogram, the given line graph, the given table, the given map. Likewise, we need to start. Okay, so identifying the picture is very important. Then we should say what is the data given. So the given paragraph or the given pie chart discusses about the division of minerals in different parts of our country. Say, for example, or you can say the given line graph discusses about the rate of literacy in India starting from 1950 to 2020. Likewise, you have to write. So, what is the figure? You need to identify that first. Then, what is the concept, the data which is given? Okay, these two things we have to write in your first paragraph. That alone will give you 1 mark. Out of 5, 1 mark is for that. Identifying the picture and identifying the type of data given. Okay, then comes our actual analytical paragraph, the second paragraph, where you'll have to write about the analysis. So, how to do the analysis? See, for every graph, say for example, a line graph or a bar chart or a histogram, first we have to write about the movement of the graph. A graph can have three types of movement. One, an upward movement, a rising graph. Second, a downward movement, a falling graph. Third, a zigzag movement. This is called fluctuation graph. It will go up, it will come down. It will go up, it will come down. Okay. So that is zigzag movement, fluctuation graph. So you need to identify that first. How does the graph move? What is the movement of the graph? You need to say that first. Number two. Okay. Number two is what is the highest point in the graph? Don't say in 1950 the percentage is this, 1960 the percentage is this, 1970 the percentage is this, 1980 the percentage is. Don't say like that. That is description. That's not analysis. So first you need to say about the movement of the graph, whether it is a rising graph, falling graph, steady graph, or fluctuating graph. Okay. Next, say the highest point of the graph. Then mention the lowest point of the graph. So there will be an upward point, highest point. There will be a low point. You need to mention both separate. Then you can say the equal points, the same points. Say for example, some data will be same in 1970 and 1990. So to take it together and say that this particular figure is same in the year 1970 and 1990. That is how you need to say. You should never say in 1970 this much percentage, in 1990 this much percentage. Don't say like that. You should say in 1970 and 1990 we have the same percentage. So the highest movement, the lowest movement, the same movement. And then when you present your figures, you present it in a different way. Say, for example, in the first year something is 30 percentage, second year it is 60 percentage. Don't say that the percentage is 60, 30 in the first year, 60 in the second year. Instead, you can say in the second year the data became doubled, it became twice. It became thrice. It became four times. Or else you can say in the first year compared with the second year, the data was half. You should say it was half. So 1 by fourth, 1 by third, half. These are the ways by which we can say. Okay, so different way you have to put it. Go for the highest one, lowest one, same ones, then say how much difference is there. You should say whether it is doubling, coming down, half, equal, 1 by third, 1 by two, 1 by fourth. That is how we need to present. That is when it becomes analysis. So, what do you conclude? What do you understand from that? What are the implications of this data? That is how we have to write. And my dear children, my suggestion to you, if you have a figure, if you have a graph, go for graph. Because there could be a table also. Interpreting a table is somewhat difficult than interpreting a graph. So your first option should be a graph. After the graph, you can go for a pie chart. If you have a pie chart, go for a pie chart. And when you're writing the pie chart also, okay, remember, you know, pie chart is a circular one which is divided into pieces, right? So just take these pieces and add it. Say for example, two pieces when you join together, it will make half of the pie chart. So you present it in that way. These two datas together becomes the half. That is another way of presenting your analysis. So that much with regarding to analytical paragraph writing. Then placing order. Shall we discuss placing order? Already I got two questions on placing order. So if you are interested, then we can go for placing order. Okay, that's it. You can go for placing order. This placing order is a very important question. By the way, I should say it is a question that is going to help you to score marks. Placing order. What to do? We have to place an order for something. We need to purchase something. That's it. What all things we have to purchase? We have to give it inside a box. So how to start? Starting with the from address, followed by the date, followed by the to address, followed by the subject or salutation. Then comes your first paragraph. Again, an introduction paragraph. You will write who are you, what do you want. Who are you means your name and your your position. Say for example, you can say I am Mahant Ubadhyaya. I am the head of computer department in XYZ public school. That is your introduction. You say your name, your position, your official designation. That is your introduction. Then you should say that your situation means your demand. You should say that our school has decided to start a junior computer lab. We're going to have its inauguration in the coming 24th of this month. So we would like to purchase the following items from you. So how will we start? We'll say I am so and so. I'm from this school, and we are planning to have this. Say for example, you can say, like the question may say that you are the store in charge of your school, and you are going to have the school reopening. So purchase certain items for your school store. So how will you write? You'll say I'm like I'm say you can say I am Rajkumar Shukla, the in charge of the school store of ABC Model Public School. Then you should say like we are going to have our uh, what next academic year from June 1st. So we would like to purchase the following items from you. This is how we'll start. Then we should go for the second paragraph. In fact, here there is no second paragraph. We have only a box. What kind of box? A box where we'll give the data, the details, the particulars, the details of the particulars. So the box should have three columns. Starting with the first column, serial number, followed by the second column, particulars, followed by the third column. What is it? The number, quantity. So serial number, particulars, or item. You can write item. In the third column, you can write quantity. If you're very creative, you can add one more column. Say, for example, brand. You can write brand. You can write color. That's up to you. Okay. That's up to you. It's not mandatory. But mandatory, you need to have three columns: serial number, item, or particular, Third column, quantity. So quantity wise, you have to write how many numbers, how many kilograms, how many liters, how many pairs, how many dozens. That is what you have to write. So minimum you have to write four things inside the serial number. Four items you should place order for. Minimum four. Maximum, there is no such number. You can limit it in six. Then comes the final paragraph, the third paragraph, which is the most important paragraph. That should be labeled as terms and conditions. You can call it as terms and conditions. There in the last paragraph, the third paragraph, you have to write very important five ideas. Number one, expected date of delivery. See, in the beginning, we said that we are going to have the school inauguration of the junior computer lab on 24th. So at the end, we should say we expect you to deliver the following items by 20th of this month because on 24th we have the inauguration. So if you get it by 20th, we'll get 4 days for arranging, right? So same way, you have to give an expected date of delivery. Second, you have to mention about the transportation policy. What is this transportation policy? These days, most of us make orders through online, right? I can order something from Delhi. I can get it in Chennai, right? So through this transit, what happens? Sometimes there could be some issues. What could be the issues in transportation? You can have a missing item. Say, for example, you order for 10 pieces, you got only 9 pieces, so one piece is missing, right? You can have a damaged item. You order 10 pieces, 7 pieces reached you intact, 3 pieces were broken. So you can have a missing item, a damaged item, or a misplaced item also. Say, for example, you put an order for shoes. You ordered for 7 size shoes, 10 pieces. But you got 5 shoes, 6 size, 2 shoes, 7 size. So it is called misplaced order. So missing item could be there, damaged item could be there, misplaced item could be there. So that's called transportation policy. You need to say that in case of a missing or a misplaced or a damaged item, that should be replaced within 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. You should make a demand there. So we'll start with expected date of delivery. We'll go with missing or damaged or misplaced items. What should we do? Means the other person should do, that you have to replace it. Then the third thing, you need to ask for discount. You're making a bulk order, you're making bulk purchase, you're making a purchase for the school. Why not you go for asking discount? How to ask for discount? You can ask it in two different ways. Number one, you can say that please give us maximum discount on MRP. Easiest way. Or else you can say that we would like you to give us at least 20% discount on MRP. So we can specify this much amount as we need discount. So ask for discount, expected date of delivery, transportation policy, then asking for discount. Three things. Fourth thing, mode of payment. How do we make payment? Okay. How do we make payment? You can say you can make payment in different way. Like you can say, I am gonna pay 10% of the total amount in advance, the rest will be paid on delivery. Or you can say, I'll pay the whole amount at the time of delivery. Or you can say, I'll pay 50% of the money during delivery and the rest I'll pay after 30 days, 20 days, 40 days. You can ask for credit, right? So expect a date of delivery. Number two, damaged transportation policy. Number three, asking for discount. Number four, mode of payment. Okay. Then number five, you need to ask for an invoice or a bill so that you can collect the money. You can be ready with the money. And then finally, you need to give a contact detail. You can say that for further details, kindly contact. Then you give an imaginary email ID or a telephone number. Then how to conclude? You should say thanking you, yours faithfully, signature, and done. This is called letter of placing order. I hope now it is clear. You have already completed 1 hour 50 minutes. Still, I'm ready. If you have further queries, you can drop it. No issues. I'm here to help you out. I want all of you to score good marks for tomorrow's exam. Don't worry, exam will be easy. So Neil says, describe the main theme and characters in the poem you have studied in your English curriculum for class 10. How do these themes and characters contribute to the overall message or meaning of work? So this is a broad question. Such questions are usually not asked. You may have a specific question regarding one particular poem. What is the main theme in that poem? What is the message there? Because in this case you have to write about the entire poem, which we usually we won't get such a question. It is a rarest of the rare chance you're going to get a question like that, but who knows, sometimes we may get it. But even then the percentage is only 1% possibility. So what to do in this question? You, as the question suggests, you have to write about all the main themes of all the poems, and how the different poets have included, brought these themes into their poetry, and how do it educate you. That is what you have to write. Such question, Anim, my dear child, don't worry, you won't get such a question. But even if you get it, you can write it accordingly. Okay, means all different poems have got different themes. Reported speech discussed the symbolism of the ball in the ball poem by John Berryman and its role in conveying themes of loss and resilience, as well as its broader implication for human emotions and experiences. Okay, now these type of questions you make it because it is about a particular poem. The symbolism of the ball in the ball poem. So, what does ball suggest there in the ball poem? What does it mean? It means your possessions. Ball could be anything. It could be your possession. It could be your physical possession or non-physical possession. Means non-physical. Physical means wealth, something. Your car, your home, your toy, your money. Your bank balance, your car, anything. Non-physical, your relationships, people around you. Those are non-physical. Right? That also you can lose. So it is all about losing those relationships. How you have to understand you are going to lose it one day. So the poem suggests that you should have resilience, means you should have the power to overcome it. You should stand up. That is what the poet says. How to stand up at the end. And we should also learn the epistemology of loss, the knowledge of loss. And this loss will make you responsible. That's why the poet says, I will not interfere. He says, I saw the boy has lost his ball and I will not interfere. Why? Because it is the boy's learning time. He should learn about his responsibility. His possession was his responsibility. He lost it. Now he needs to overcome it. He needs to understand this will happen in his life. People will come, they'll take your balls. So your possessions will be lost one day, little boy. But you have to learn how to stand up, how to face. So that is why you have to be resilient. Okay, we need to overcome our emotions. Why the boy was sad? Not because, not because he lost a ball. He is worried about the loss of memories, loss of emotions which he had connected with the ball. As what the poet says, a ball is a dime. I can replace him with another ball, but I can't replace his emotions, his memories, his feelings connected to that ball. And that is where the very important concept comes. Money is external. Money is external. You need to understand that. Money can't buy you emotions and feelings. See, for example, in a simple way, I can prove it. You can buy a bed with money. You can buy bed. You pay money, you'll get the best bed. But can you buy sleep? No, you can't buy sleep. So that's why money is external. You can replace physical objects with money, but your emotions, your feelings, Your thoughts, your attachment, your values, you can't replace it with money. So these are the concepts that we have in the poem, the world poem. Okay, I hope it is clear, Anim. In Anne Gregory's case, the poet very clearly mentions about people running after the outward things, the physical beauty, which we fail to understand is mortal, which we will destroy, which will be destroyed over a period of time. Means you will be beautiful in your youth, but once you get old, you lose all this physical charm and beauty. So then those people who are running after you earlier won't be minding you. They'll go for someone else. So when you try to love a person, try to love him understanding what he or she is. How do they can contribute in your life? So with the passage of time, what happens? You lose your outward beauty, but your inner beauty will stay forever. And remember, God is the best example of divine beauty. Hi, Mitu. I hope I'm able to help you out. What is the okay? Okay, John. It's like cajole is like persuading people, forcing people to do something through flattery or something like that. Cajole. You can force somebody to do something by flattery, misleading them, misguiding them. Okay. Analyze the theme of faith versus skepticism in the story and its message through Lenjo's experience. Definitely, the lesson is about. Uh, okay, the message is about faith. Obviously, the lesson gives a lot of importance to faith. Lenjo's trust in God is what makes him forces him to write a letter, such a letter. Because in a normal guy, you will never see people will be writing a letter to God. But Lencho had 100% faith in God. He thought that God is definitely going to help me, and that faith is evident when he gets the money. He gets really angry. When he counts the money, there are only 70 pesos, and he once again writes a letter. Why? Because he was sure that the God will never make any mistake. God will definitely send me 100 pesos. So he doesn't have faith in people, whereas he had 100% faith in God. And that is what is realized by the postmaster also. Why did he help him? Why did he decide to help him? Because he was surprised. He was, in fact, he felt respect to Lencho for this unwavering faith in God, shockingly strong faith in God. And he never wanted that faith to break. He never wanted to shaken Lenjo's faith in God. If Lenjo doesn't get the help from God, his faith will be broken. And to maintain his faith, such a great faith, the postmaster had decided to help it.